Rangers Journal.
Good evening and welcome to the Rangers Journal. My name is Billy Rankin. Today is Tuesday, the 10th of September 2024, I believe. We're here to talk about the news from today. I'm going to do that with Ross. This is your debut show, mate. How are you doing?
I'm very well, Billy, mate. How's yourself?
Yeah, well, I've got the sun today, but don't know. But we're not meant to date the pods, but I guess I have literally dated this pod by telling you what date it was. But yeah, first time on the show, mate. I hope you're going to give us your insight into some of the today's events. How do you normally kind of keep track of what's going on?
I mean, to be honest, I'm kind of never off Twitter. I read a lot. I'm on a few of the forums as well. I do try and keep up to date with it as much as possible. You know, it's easier through those kind of medias, but like I think Facebook's kind of full of a lot of nonsense. That's my ways, and I tend to listen to a lot of the podcasts when I'm driving.
You tend to find when you're in a kind of podcast group like this, you find out things and then you go on your phone later on and you're reading the same stuff that guys in the chat have sent to you. So you might get prepared for that. But look, we'll talk about a few things that's come up today. So Yanis Hadji was playing last night for Romania. I didn't realise we were such big news over there, but after the game, he gets interviewed about what's going to be happening here at Rangers, and he says he's coming back to Glasgow today to fight for his place. What do you think about this situation in general?
I mean, Yanis Hadji's the name Hadji. He's a god in Romania, based solely on his dad 25 years ago. Anything that he does is mainstream news. You even seen like his wedding was on live television and that. It's crazy. But I think that there's been a little bit of issues between obviously himself and the club, and it's probably been a bit of a standstill. That he says he wants to stay. The club don't want him, maybe because they don't want to pay him this kind of rumoured contract extension or pay rise. It's probably been, it's probably a bit of a standoff. I think the manager himself has been got to go with the stance of the club and saying, no, we don't want him here, regardless of whether or not he wants him or not, because I think we could be doing with another number 10. Excuse me. But it's been it's actually a bit of a sad situation because he's a likeable guy. I thought he's a half decent player, maybe not as good as some people made him out to be. That he's the superstar number 10 that we maybe thought he was going to be when he broke through 5-6 years ago. But in terms of it's just a sad situation, and I know there's still a few transfer windows open, but I don't think he'll leave now, and he'll probably just spend the next couple of months in the B team.
That's what it's sad for me, mate, because he's better than the Rangers B team. I mean, it's not been officially confirmed by the club or the player that the sticking point is this jump up in wages when he reaches a certain amount of games played, and I believe would be then we'll have to pay a bit more of a transfer fee for him. So I can see why the club are hesitant to pay him. He only is contracted for the rest of the year, so that jump up would only be for the next 9 months or so, 10 months. If he could organise something and come to some arrangement with the club, bearing in mind that Clement has said that we don't view him as our number 10. He didn't say he didn't view him as maybe another position, for instance. But if something could be worked out, is he a player you would keep around for another, 4 months, 9 months, 10 months till his contract ends?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you're paying the guy a salary, why would you not use him? The big sticking point that we've spoke about, or that other people have spoke about over the summer, is the amount of money that we're pumping into players that are giving us nothing in return.
Yeah.
We've had a big call of guys that left that we didn't feel were giving us worth what the salary they were getting paid. Excuse me, sorry. And I think that if it could be worked out, then why would you not want somebody that's at least got the ability to pick a pass? I don't think he's as good a number 10 as what people want him to be. But at the same time, Clement has made a bit of a rod for his own back by categorically saying on a number of occasions, he's not here, he should not be here, we don't want him here. Essentially leaves alone. It's almost like a kind of love-struck puppy, almost, where that's the way it's been played out, that Hadji's like, I want to stay, and Clement's like, no, just essentially go away, which it's sad the way, like I say, it's sad the way it's came out.
It's like this is dating myself. It's like Bigfoot and the Hendersons, where he gets it to go into the forest. Just go. I know what you mean. But I mean, he has, as you say, made a rod for his own back, Clement, here by basically saying he needs to go. I'm assuming that nobody's come in for him that Hadji really wants to go to. Do you agree with that?
Basically, yeah. I mean, I know somebody had said there was a rumour floating about that he was linked with Rapid Bucharest. they've just sacked their manager as well. Obviously nobody's favourite Neil Lennon, but they've had a bit of upheaval. He was linked with Steaua Bucharest. He said he's categorically doesn't want to go back to Romania at this point in his career. He's already done it at one point where I think he went to Italy first, and then he went back to Romania, his dad's team, and then he went out to Belgium before he came to us. So I understand almost going back to Romania seems like the easy option for him because he would never be shy of maybe money there, but there needs to be something there. But I think he needs to just be like, listen, I'm not doing this anymore. I don't think his agents have particularly helped him either in that way, and it's just really, really sad. And you want the best for everybody.
No, I agree with you. We did a show last night. I went out live last night about I called it the enigma that is James Tavernier. It's still an ongoing kind of transfer saga because, as you say, there's a few windows still open, and certainly by I don't know where these rumours are coming from. Obviously, the player and the club haven't confirmed anything, but he's still linked with moves away. Today there was a little bit of a links going around. Your Twitters and your different social media sites that the offers are concrete, but Rangers at this point, with not able to bring someone else in, are not wanting to let him go at least until the January window. Is that a good move for us, or is Tav's time up for you here?
You're now bringing me into the debate. I've not been involved in this. Unlike you're now wanting me to open up that minefield as well. God. The thing is obviously earlier in the window there was a solid link that Tavernier had been. There was an offer from Trabzonspor, which was categorically rebuked by the club. He'd already agreed terms. So it's one of those things that I didn't think the club would have been that difficult to deal with at that point. There's now been obviously other rumours from Turkey. I don't think the Saudi thing's ever ceased. I think the Gerrard link is a very, very easy one to make.
Yeah.
The fact that Steven Gerrard's never, ever really come in for anybody probably tells you more than you need to know. I don't think the club I think they'd be happy to sell him. I don't think they're willing to budge on the money they want. But if he's already agreed a deal, he says he's already agreed terms with, say, Trabzonspor 8 weeks ago, then how can you expect the guy to be fully committed to here? You've then got the whole scenario of, last weekend with supporters, and you can debate that until the cows come home. But it's clearly a guy that I think for his own sake, his own well-being, probably needs to move on.
It doesn't say really a lot for the backup options if we're not prepared to let James Tavernier go just now. Where it might just be money, but if we've got 3 players that could play in that position, and none of us feel that Tav's he's in his best kind of form. He's on the decline to a degree. There is an argument that his stats from the Celtic game were actually on the better side of the team. So, he is still contributing. Maybe it's just the drop off is so noticeable because of what he used to be able to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you've got the old debate of the stat guys versus the eye test guys.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what the debate comes down to, is that people say, look at what you're watching. It's a guy in decline that the things that he's done so well as a player in terms of his attacking output, in terms of his dead ball ability, was always negated by his defensive his inability to defend. Sorry, mm-hmm. When you're not getting that same output anymore, is it? Or you say the stats look like he is still contributing. The eye test is maybe different. It's really hard to try and meet in the middle, because it's always only going to be one or the other. Nobody's ever going to be. He's not the same guy he is. Let's just let him go for the benefit of the club.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to start a debate again. I'll reiterate. We had pods over the summer talking about whether is he going to stay, is he going to go. I'd be happy for him to stay for the season if he's managed better, but he's played pretty much every single game. So even Clement, again, making a rod for his back, saying, Tav's going to have to play less than 40 games or whatever. He's still playing him in these games, and it'd be good if we could maybe rotate him out and let some of these kind of up and coming players come in. Last bit of news that from my side, mate, today was another one of these clubs announcing a reduction in I'll say the Old Firm allocations for the stadium. So we've seen Aberdeen do this. We've seen Hearts and Hibs make this kind of gesture towards the fans who don't turn up to most of their games. But now St Johnstone, which is I guess a local club for me, I'm only 10 minutes away from the stadium there. They've apparently only going to give us the 2 stands behind the goals. whereas we used to also get the big stand across from the main stand. I don't know the name of it. What do you think is what's making this move? I believe they've got a new owner. Is it just trying to suck up to the fans?
Basically, so it's the same. It was the same with Hibs. Obviously their new owners, where they were like, no, we are Easter Road is for Hibernian supporters. We're not going to be outsung or outnumbered by our own supporters, by the opposition supporters, especially if it's Rangers or Celtic or whoever. But they do it, and it's great. And they say, that's great. We're opening it up to use, and then nobody turns up. Their owner, I did see a quote from their owner saying that he basically said to their fans, "Turn up." And I think at least he's got the wherewithal to say, if you don't turn up, it will go back to normal. If you can't sell the seats, don't ask for them. Livingston was another ground where they turned around and basically admitted, we need the money. We give them the 3 stands because we don't sell the seats. We don't have enough supporters to sell the seats. We'd rather have the money, which you can understand. You don't want away grounds to be home grounds, essentially, and that's what some of them are like. But you can't turn around and say at the start of the season, we're not giving Rangers or Celtic any extra seats. We don't need them. And then at the end of the year, we're going, we're posting a 500, 600 grand loss basically because we missed out on ticket sales. How do you know what I mean? You can't have your cake. You can't have your cake and eat it too.
I think it is going to come down to, if their fans step up and buy those tickets, great. I mean, you want, away games are good when you've got, a good mix of, home fans there and away fans. I don't see it though. I mean, I'll say I live in the area. I don't know many actual St Johnstone fans. In fact, the only one I know is, I'll not mention who he is, but is a relation to the previous manager. So he was only going because a family member was running the club at the time. So they get some fans, but if you go up to so my local Tesco is the one up next to the stadium there, and if you go by in a day where there's a game that's not one of the Old Firm, you can see the amount of empty seats just by looking in the ground outside. So shooting himself in the foot, but it also might be him covering himself when he has to go back and say, no, we need to give the stand back to the Rangers fans. But that's all the kind of news for today that I had, mate. Was there anything that popped into your feeds today you wanted to bring up?
No, I did. I've been seeing a lot of things of people talking about this almost maligned Q&A night with Philippe Clement at Edmondson House tonight for I believe it's for the Rangers Charity Foundation. It's one of those things. What's going to happen. It's going to be predetermined questions. Are you happy with the state of the squad? And he's going to go yes, and then we'll all get into an outrage about him not throwing the board under the bus or him saying that he's not resigning or whatever. Just utter nonsense. We know it's going to be. We're prepared. Be prepared for the furor of it, basically.
There was another furor as well I've seen today where apparently he'd commented to the new Celtic signing that he'd made a good move, and a lot of the fans were like, "He needs to go. He can't say he's going to sell." These things get said between football players. For them, of course, there's players that love the clubs that they play for, but for most of them, it's a job, and I don't feel any difference and I'm pretty sure over the years, players who have played for other managers that maybe have been maybe the Celtic manager and came to us have also said, "Yeah, good move, well done." I mean, it's just what you do when you're working with different colleagues. I don't get this need to be permanently angry with things, but only brought to my mind because you brought up that thing today with Clement, which has been booked 6 months, 10 months ago, before any fixtures were even available. So we had no idea it was going to be after a pretty difficult defeat to Celtic. But Ross, thanks very much for being on with me tonight, mate. Solid debut. Hopefully we'll see you soon. But thank you very much for being on. And thank you anyone for watching. And it just leaves me to say, remember that every night is a Rangers Journal night. Good night.